did without me.
Yeah, you were just walking across the room.
Cheater.
I ain't cheat.
Cheater, pumpkin eater.
I never cheat. Dun, dun, dun.
Everybody's watching football.
Nope, there's Mary S. Lorelei, Farmer Meemaw. And that's it. There's Kitty. Vina.
That'll be it.
Ava. Suburban. And that's it. No, Heather Russo. You are live, Big Red Dot. Micro Homestead. How's it going? Dun dun dun. Anita. She said, howdy y'all. Howdy y'all. Brenda Duncan. Dun dun dun. Oh, and there's Farmer Meemaw asking about the old noggin. It's cut. Right across there. But thank you, Sherry Cherry, for that one Marine Corps hat that you gave me. Because if not, this part of my head would probably be laying down.
Laid open.
Yeah. So, we got set. It says a whole whopping 7 people are in here.
I told you, everybody's watching football.
Foosball?
Georgia's playing right now.
Oh, who they playing?
Mississippi State.
Oh, that should be a slobber knocker.
It's Bulldogs against Bulldogs. Okay, Suburban, that's cool. It didn't come today, so it'll be here Monday.
Well, she said she mailed it on Friday, which was yesterday.
She lives less than 2 hours from us.
Why didn't you just drive it down here? One Lost Dude, Gothic Sugar. How's it going?
It's going.
Yeah. Andy's Backyard and Shop. Did you ever answer him? You're such a loser.
Been a little busy this week.
Doing what? Ain't like somebody laid their head open or something. You got this whole skater drown thing going on with your hair right now. Wonderful blessed life. Mark Krager.
Yeah, he's somewhat back to normal. His head still hurts occasionally. But I told him if my head looked like that, it would hurt too. Asshole. Oh, I just said that on my whoops. Well, you are.
Why we don't get monetized anymore. Do I need to refresh? Says offline. Go ahead and refresh, Lorelei.
Yeah, we're on. It's showing live. Good here, Big Bear. Your brain housing group doing better? Man, you can tell that's a Marine Corps.
It's alright. Is that a new hat, Jason, or is that the amazing hat? No.
No, that's not it. It's in the house.
It's in the house. This is my I wear everywhere else Marine Corps hat, and then I got another one that I wear to the dairy.
Yeah, the one that...
Y'all remember the... I don't know. Some of y'all will. Y'all remember the old gray one I had that we auctioned?
Beige.
Well, whatever. That we auctioned off, and then Sherry Cherry bought me one that looked just like it.
Yeah.
It was that one. It had the big Marine Corps emblem right here. It was just the emblem. Yeah, it cut it right across there.
You need to put a steel plate in that.
Maria. David, how do you say his last name? Shero?
Sharu. Yeah, he posted something in one of the things that that you must have had a pretty hard head.
Yeah, I got kind of a hard noggin.
He's hard-headed, definitely. Most of y'all know that for sure.
Now are you going to wear a hard hat? No. Ricky Wallace, I'm so excited to see that you're done the Trappers pack. Trappers kit.
Ultimate Trapper.
Ultimate. No, it's not. I have to disagree with that name, Ricky. It's not the Ultimate Trappers kit unless you got a beaver
Well,
knife
he
in
said
there.
you could put a beaver knife in, but not everybody traps beaver.
Yeah, and then they're not a trapper. That's just my humble opinion.
How did that happen?
Well, we're gonna give everybody a few more minutes, and
We'll
then
tell the story in a minute.
then I'm gonna tell the story. But if you guys are not subscribed to Wallace Knife Works and Homestead, go on over there.
Check him out.
Check out Ricky Wallace. Sub. And watch his videos on his Trappers, the Ultimate Trappers package.
Well, any of his
Yeah.
stuff. He's got some pretty amazing
We're just talking about one thing right now.
stuff. So,
Even though I still think the beaver knife should be named after me. I mean, Jay Knoll has 2 knives named after him, and I don't have one. And I got him to build the beaver knife. Just saying.
you don't know that for certain.
Yeah, he never built one. Mine was the first one.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying.
Hey, Susan. Kitty, there's all kinds of good people in here tonight.
Mm-hmm. Susan Sullivan in the house.
Tanya.
Tanya.
I think I'll forge one this week. Forge one what?
I don't know. Beaver knife, probably.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he didn't have it, because he didn't have one to show to put it in there.
Maybe.
Thanks, I'll put it in there.
Yeah.
No, name it the Beaver Cleaver.
No, it needs to be the Big Bear beaver knife.
Oh, awesome. So Pickers hit me up earlier this week asking me, he had a pain issue, and I told him what to use, and he's saying it's not any more pain, so that's cool.
That's cool. Kitty, I was late getting home this morning. I was over by a car at a gas station. Wow. Oh, no.
I just.
Argy Homestead, that's funny.
Mhm.
Crotchet Queen.
Yep.
That sounds like somebody that we know. Used to call it that all the time.
Crocheting.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Diamond Rose says hello.
Yep. I'm trying to get ready to take a 5-hour road trip to my brother's wedding
Wow.
reception. Oh,
Gonna have to
with all 5 kids. Whoo, lordy.
say some prayers for a wonderful blessed life. But all right, so
Diffuse lavender in the air vent.
then she'll go to sleep. It's not smart. Don't listen to the witchcraft lady.
Mm.
So what a week we had here.
You ain't lying. Oh.
So you want to start? Monday was a good day. Nothing really happened on Monday. Right?
Sure.
What happened on
Everything
Monday?
was good on Monday.
No, everything was good on Monday.
Yes, Jason is on there. I'll do another and think up a name. My wife has 2 projects going right now. Yeah, so, okay, so anyway. So Monday, I'm trying to think.
Monday was good. I don't think we had any drama on Monday. I really don't. I think we We had an amazing day on Monday, and that's the whole reason why that stuff happened on Tuesday.
Could be.
And then Tuesday came.
And Tuesday I get to work.
Tuesday.
No, Monday. Monday you guys had to stay to do that stuff with the dairy. Go through with the customers, didn't you?
Was that Monday? No, that wasn't Monday.
Because I thought I had to eat at work Monday.
Maybe.
So anyway, so Tuesday gets here and I barely get to work. And it's like 9 o'clock. And all of a sudden I get this message that says, can you get somebody to bring you to the dairy? Because I had,
Well, back a little bit. At the dairy, we were expecting our feed to show up Monday, and it didn't show. And so we were at the very bottom. But I mean, we were out there at the silo, beating on the side of the silo to get feed to fall down to go up the line into the feeders.
mm-hmm.
And so normally by the time Robin gets ready to go to work, we're pretty much done milking. And she had to come up there because of how long it took us to, you add that extra 2-3 minutes in,
Each
or even
time,
30
yeah.
seconds each time that you go to hit the line to make the feeders go. Time starts adding up.
Right.
Well, we had probably maybe 2 or 3 lines left when Robin got there. Took Robin to work, came back, and the feed was still hanging up. And Blaze was out there trying to beat on it, and wasn't getting anywhere. He got absolutely in basically the 12 minutes that I was gone. Maybe 20 minutes that I was gone.
Yeah, 20 minutes.
He got absolutely no
Nowhere.
cows milked because he was out there trying to get the feed to fall
Feed to
out.
drop, right.
So I sent him back in there, and I was taking the sides off, and as the auger was going, I was reaching up into the silo to get chunks of just old
Crap.
out. And our feed has cottonseed in it, and for some reason, and I don't know why, but chunks of cotton get mixed in this feed, and sometimes it gets hung
Clogs
up.
it all up.
Clogs it all up. And then if any moisture gets in there, it gets in the cotton, then gets in the feed, and then you get these bricks
Mm-hmm.
of feed in there that you've got to reach up in there and pull out. Well,
Cool. Thanks, Kitty.
I got back from dropping Robin off. No, I didn't have to take you to work. Your friends came.
No,
and
that's
picked
what
you
I was
up.
getting
Yeah.
ready to say, is I was letting you say your
Yeah.
thing. But basically what happened is, okay, so Tuesday was scheduled that Tuesday evening we were going to have to be in Augusta for a dinner kind of meeting thing. And so I was already planning on leaving early. So I told Jason, I said, look, I had to come down to the dairy to get my to drop off the car. And then Jason was going to take me to work. But in the meantime, I looked at the clock and I realized I had a friend who drives, a coworker that drives right by the dairy. So I called her and said, hey, where are you guys? And she was like, no, I'm right there. I can stop and pick you up. So she came and picked me up, and we all went to work together. So fast forward till an hour later.
It wasn't an hour.
Yeah, it was 9 o'clock.
Oh.
So anyway, at 9, I get a text message. And the text message is basically, can you get somebody to bring you down to the dairy? I need you here. And there was no more detail besides that.
Well, what happened was I was at the feed silo as it was running, and I was reaching up there getting those chunks out and getting feed to fall, and Blaze was bringing in the last couple of rounds of cows.
Mm-hmm.
And he would milk. I was sitting out there, and as the feed would stop falling, I'd either hit the side of the silo with a rubber mallet, or I'd be reaching up in there with my hand. Well, where we bring the cows in is like right here, and the feed silos like right here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it has these, I think they're 3-inch PVC pipes that come up and then spread out. One brings the feed down on one side, the other one brings it down on the closed side, and then you've got parlor where the pit's in the middle and two sides where the cows come in. And one has a sliding door.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was in a squatted position, squatted down, because I was putting the side back on the thing because I pretty much had it whooped at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I got all the big chunks that was stopping the feed from flowing. I got them out, and I was just going to go around and beat on it and push on any other chunks or anything else that we had down in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, out of the corner of my eye, my ninja peripheral vision, I saw these cows running, and I turned my head, and it didn't look like the sliding door was already closed, but I know Blaze just brought in a line. So I was thinking, oh no, these cows are going to either A, they were going to run up on Blaze and stomp Blaze down, or they were going to just run havoc all up in the parlor and maybe damage a bunch of equipment. So I turned and lunged forward because I was trying to get to the door. Well, where these PVC pipes come out of the bottom of the silo and they go up, there is a chunk of galvanized angle iron right about there.
And it's got the unfinished sides.
And so
The only side that's finished is the corner. You know, the 90-degree corner is rounded, but the rest of it's just rough.
Yeah. Well, the smooth, basically the folded side of the angle iron was on the outside.
On the outside.
I had the two edges on my side.
Right.
And I came up full force, moving with basically
Everything
all of
you
this in
had.
motion. And I basically come up almost out of like a squat
clipped.
position.
Right there.
And it's dunk. And I heard my neck pop. And then the next thing I remember, I was on the concrete. And I was laying there. And I reached up and my hat was still there. And I just knew I was fixing to push and blood was just going to start running down my face.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that my hand was going to come back bloody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it didn't.
Well, you forgot that you had your hat on, I think. I think that's the thing that you kind of... Because I forgot the same thing. I wasn't even thinking about the fact you had a hat on.
And I tried to get up, and I couldn't. I was just woozy still, all lightheaded.
Mm-hmm.
So I crawled out from underneath the silo. I basically low crawled out from underneath the silo.
Yeah, you weren't going to do it twice.
And
Actually, he
actually,
kind of did a little. You
a
could
little.
tell where he hit it.
And I basically went from a low crawl to a high crawl. So eventually on the side of the building, got up on my feet, leaning on the side of the building, got in there to Blaze. And before I went into Blaze, you know, I was patting my face down, patting everywhere down, going, okay, no blood.
Mm-hmm.
What's up? And
But again, I argue, I don't think you weren't all there. So I
Mhm.
don't even think you even realized you had your hat, you know, really on to where it stopped anything.
And so I started getting my sense about me, and I walked in there, and Blaze was like, what's the matter with you? And I said, am I bleeding? And he's like,
No, you're just a little white.
no, you're just very white. And then I took my hat off.
Mm-hmm.
And I leaned my head down, and Blaze was like, oh, yeah, you're bleeding. And about that time, I knew I was getting ready to puke. So I did an about face, got my butt outside. And Blaze just thought I just, you know, barely hit my head.
And he's been trained. He knows that head wounds bleed a lot. So
Yeah.
he didn't know just how severe he had hit it. He just knew he had cut his head a little.
And I barely got outside, and I'm puking.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dry heaving because I didn't have breakfast yet. All I had was some coffee, and that came up with like the first.
Mm-hmm.
And
And then you felt really woozy and
And then I got my phone
Mm-hmm.
and I sent her that text message. And
And of course, he was so kind of out of it that I didn't get a full story about what had happened. So the only thing I could figure happened was he got kicked by a cow. Because they've been pretty rowdy and feisty lately. Like yesterday or the day before, we had one get down into the pit. I mean, like we've had some interesting couple of days with the demeanor of the cows. So that's what I thought happened. So without asking any questions, I was like, you know, where's Blaze? Send him to me now. Have him come pick me up. He's like, he's on his way. Then he didn't message me anything. I started,
you skipped a lot.
what? What did I skip?
Well, I sent you the first text message, you know, hey, you need to have somebody to come bring you here. And then I sent a text message that said, I got a head wound.
Right, yeah. Well, yeah, you did tell me it was.
And then you told me nobody could come. Can Blaze come?
Yeah.
And by that time now, we're done. Blaze got the last row milked. Because
Right.
that's what this happened on the last row of cows. And so I went in there and I just said, go get Mom.
And Blaze knew nothing, like, he didn't know.
Yeah.
He had no clue. He just knew to come get me.
And because I knew I was getting worse, and I did not want him to panic or freak out.
Well, he's still new to driving, so the last
Yeah.
thing I needed was him wrecking the car because he was freaking out.
Yeah. And so he took off to go get Robin, and I started just dry heaving bad.
And I got no message, no responses from
That's
him.
because
And
I was trying to, my body was puking.
And I was freaking out because now I'm thinking he's not conscious and Blaze isn't there and there's nobody else there because Ladessa had stayed home that morning. So I'm like really freaking out. I go to my boss and I'm like, he's not answering me. I don't know what's going on. One of the other girls is like, I can take you. I was like, well, the problem is we'll miss Blaze and he doesn't have a phone, so we can't communicate back and forth. And about that time, then Jason responded again with something else about Blaze coming or something like that. So Blaze came and got me.
I went to puking so bad, dry heaving so bad that it took me to basically my knees again. I was on all fours.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching my back. I was listening to my back pop sometimes. And I thought to myself, I got to keep moving forward. I gotta keep moving forward. And so I got myself up on my truck and I was texting back and forth with her.
And I'm trying to keep him, you know.
She's trying to keep
coherent.
me in conversation. I hate texting to begin with. And I finally texted her and I said, I'm gonna start cleanup. I gotta keep moving forward. And I barely got normally when I'm hosing down the parlors, it takes about 2 minutes per side. I didn't even get both sides done by the time they got up there. I would spray a little bit, puke a little bit, spray a little bit, puke a little bit.
And of course, at this point, I already knew he had a concussion. I mean, I knew that was a given. So I'm just trying to figure out how bad the concussion is and if he's done any more damage. Because I didn't even think about his hat. I really didn't even think about that until we actually sat down and really took a breath for a minute, that the hat really saved a lot of damage.
So Robin got there. I tossed her the keys to my truck.
And I'm like, whoop, 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 red flag.
And I said, let's go to the urgent care. Now, I don't like going to the urgent cares because the moment you walk in the door, it's like $75. So
I wanted it to be quick. I wanted a quick get in there and find out what was wrong.
And so we went.
We drove down there. We passed his boss on the way.
But I knew I did not want to take that long ride to Augusta.
Well, and the thing that you haven't really said, where we're at, the local hospital is a joke. There's no ER there. The closest ER is going to be about 45 minutes. So my thought process was, Jason is covered down at the VA. On the way to the VA, there is a pretty good ER about 40 minutes in that same direction. So my thought was, is if I go ahead and go that direction, if we make it to Augusta, great. If we don't, we at least make it to Thompson, we'll be fine.
But you jumped ahead again. Because we went to the urgent care, and the urgent care said...
No.
We went to the urgent
Right. They said, no, we can't.
Said, yeah. They said, no,
we can't rule out.
We can't do anything for you. We don't have the CT machine. So you're going to have... They're just going to send you to an emergency room, and you're going to be out $75. So, we left. And we started heading towards Augusta.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I love my wife. But that woman was getting on my last nerve that whole... If I blinked longer than a nanosecond, she was punching me then. Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! I'm like, damn it, woman. I got to blink.
No, he's exaggerating. But, I mean, like, we would be sitting there, and he would just... His head would kind of flop, and his eyes would start to get heavy. And now the problem is, I mean, they were waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to go milk cows. So part of me is like, well, he's just tired. And then the other part is, don't let him go to sleep. Because that's what you hear about a concussion. You don't let him go to sleep. So, you know.
Yeah, and so we made it to Augusta. Walked into the desk at the ER.
Mm-hmm.
Robin did very good driving my truck, by the way. She thinks I was judging her the whole way, but I wasn't. I was fighting, trying to keep my eyes open because I didn't want to get punched anymore. We got there, and this little tiny nurse pulled us back, and then she put this big honking neck brace on me, and she's like, "Now this should make you feel better." No, I felt like all my fat was getting pushed up
and
in
of
this
course,
brace, and
we don't have any pictures or anything.
Kind of like, it felt like I was like I looked like an Eskimo. And I was kind of sitting there like this with the brace on my neck.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the crap? Why do I gotta wear this thing? And
stabilize your neck.
And so she went through. My blood pressure was up. She's like, well, that's because you're in pain. And so they took me back to this little room, and the one nurse came in, and he's kind of a cool dude. Then the doc came in, and he's like, so let's talk about your neck.
He's kind of a punk, in my opinion. I mean, he
doctor
wasn't...
was a douche. He was a typical VA douche doctor.
He wasn't hard on the eyes, but he was a douche. So, but anyway. Anyway.
So that's the part you were trying to skip over stuff to get to.
No, So anyway, go ahead.
So he does this test with my neck, and he realized that it was muscle pain, not spinal
Skeletal,
pain.
Right.
So he took that thing off. And I was like, ooh, I can breathe again.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the nurse came in, and they said, okay, he's sending you up for a CT. And he's looking at me funny.
Okay, wait, stop. So everybody was hitting us up message-wise because I had sent something to Tommy saying, hey, can you just pray for us real quick because this is pretty scary what's going on. And so he did, and I guess he did a video, and next thing I know, my phone is blowing up. And that was one of the things that was keeping Jason moving, was because the phone kept going off. Well, my phone already was not charged very well. So it was almost dead by the time we got to the hospital. So I wanted to take a couple of pictures, like with the collar on and stuff like that. My phone just died out. So we were completely out of communication with everybody for a little while.
That's because Jesus was watching over me. So the nurse dude, he was just he was looking at me so funny. So he took me up for my CT, and then
came back.
But what Robin doesn't know is that the nurses in the CT scan were looking at me funny. And I'm like, what? And why is everybody looking at me like I'm like the Hunchback of Notre Dame? I mean, everybody was like,
Now keep in mind, his hat's not on at this point. So you can see full face or whatever.
Okay. Well, I laid down for the CT. And I was fighting it then. I was...
Mm-hmm.
It was like a 3-day leave in Bangkok.
Mm-hmm.
And so they had to help me get back up because I couldn't get back up by myself. What's up, Professor? And I'm sitting, and it took me a while once I got in the seated position to gather myself so I could go from sitting on the table thing to back in the wheelchair because they don't let you walk anywhere in a hospital.
Mm-mm.
And so they wheel me out to the dude, and he's still just looking at me. He's kind of like, to the point where I'm thinking, is he trying to tell me I got a booger hanging out of my nose, or do I have something in my teeth?
And he brought you back and wheeled you in and let you in your chair.
Put me back in my chair. And now, granted, I don't have a hat on, so I'm like this, right? And he's still just doing this like he's damn Johnny Bench. He's just... And then finally, he looks at my wife. He looks at Robin and he goes,
"Is that normal?"
His eyebrow, is that normal?
And
Robin went, "Thank God I thought it was me. I wasn't going to say anything to panic anybody, but no, it never does that."
If you looked at him straight on, it almost looked like he had a stroke.
Yeah.
Part of his face was normal, but the other part where he got hurt, this eyebrow was like up here. And so it made the other side of his face look like it was drooping. But I could only see him because I was sitting this way and he was over here. So I could only see the side where the eyebrow was up. So I just thought, it was just he had his eye cocked. So I wasn't saying anything.
And that, when she said, no, that's not normal, one, kept us there for another good 45 minutes to an hour, which was a continued laugh fest for my wife because she couldn't look at me. She couldn't talk to me.
His eyebrow was like up here.
I've got a concussion, and now they're wondering if, I had, partial stroke or something, and that they might be sticking the electrodes to my freaking head to see if brainwaves are still going. Does she care? No. She almost wets her damn pants laughing at me so hard because my eyebrow
Every
is
time I
doing this
looked over,
number.
all I could see was his eyebrow, up on his forehead.
So, they made me sip on a bunch of ice chips.
To see if he could keep anything down.
That longest time.
Mm-hmm.
And I got that, and they brought the pain pill in. They say, here, take this. Because they were like, do you want something for pain? I said, well, here's the thing. Unless you're going to give it to me in a shot, probably not, because I'm probably going to puke it.
I'm afraid I'm going to throw it up.
And so that's when they brought the ice chips in. So after I was able to keep the ice water down for a while, they brought in Percocet. Percocet land. I got to visit. And they had to give me a high dose one because I swear to you, that pill was like that stinking
It was. It looked
big.
like a big.
It was like a
It was
horse
bigger
pill.
than like an 800 ibuprofen.
Thing was huge.
Mm-hmm. It was huge. I don't know what.
And
I don't know, but it was funny.
I popped that because the nurse came, the male nurse dude came in, and he was like belly up to the bar marine. So I went, whoom.
Jason, can you say Baby Ruth?
And so I popped the pill, and he looked at her, and he said, in about...
Well, I already knew because he's had Percocet before. So,
about 30 minutes,
yeah.
y'all will be able to go.
Yeah.
As long as he doesn't puke it, in 30 minutes, y'all be able to go. His eyebrow should come back down.
For a little while, because I'm sure it will go, once the Percocet wears off, it'll go back up for a little while. Okay.
So then I was in Percocet land.
Now, keep in mind, I haven't had breakfast, and I haven't had lunch either, and it's now like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm starving at this point. So I decide I'm going to go eat where I want to eat, because he's in La La Land, he doesn't care.
And I didn't give a damn. That's just the best way to put it.
Hey, Cherish.
I gave 0
Yep.
at that moment.
And that's how the heroin problem starts.
And so we went to what we used to call, when we lived in Augusta, we used to call it
The trough.
And it has sushi and crawfish and boiled shrimp,
basically
it was a Japanese place. You
could
could get the what is that, stir fry stuff?
or
whatever.
Hibachi. It's a hibachi grill, yeah.
And Robin went off to the bathroom. Well, remember, 0. I cared less about anything. And so I went and got my plate. And remember, I'm in La La Land, so keto who? So I love crawfish and boiled shrimp. That's
Hey, Teresa.
all I'm saying. And I had Mount St. Helens of crawfish and boiled shrimp.
Yeah.
It was like, I was walking back to the plate and people were stepping off to the side going, oh, oh, oh. And walked all the way in back to, and I just started eating. I don't know what it was, but about that pill, but I probably downed 3 pounds of boiled shrimp.
I mean, he did. He ate so much shrimp, like the plate of just the skins or the
little Chinese guy came by. He went, holy shit.
He was funny too. I've never seen somebody with so much personality like that. He was crazy. And he walked up because Jason saw his hat on and he was saluting him and doing all this different stuff. It was just funny.
Took my hat off. He go, holy shit.
Yeah, it was funny. So anyway, yeah. So we did that, and then I kind of stuffed him in the truck for a little while because I wanted to go. Or no, we went to. I forgot we went to the mall.
We went to the mall. We got my fancy coffee.
Which again, at this point.
Yeah, crab legs. I could eat the crap out of crab legs too.
Yeah.
I will slap somebody down for some snow crab legs. And so we went and got the
Well, I also had to get
you got me a new pair of sunglasses.
Yeah, and I needed to get a charger for my phone because it was super dead. So.
And we went and hung out in the truck, and that's when she finally let me sleep a little bit.
Well, because I asked them, he's exhausted because he's been up since 4, so, and then you're going to give him this Percocet, it's going to knock him out, so what do I need to do? And he said, as long as...
Hey, simply.
That's Nick.
That's kind of Nicole.
As long as he is upright, whether he's sitting in the car or he's laying on his side, as long as he can't aspirate, if he throws up, he's fine. I was like, okay. So I let him sleep for a little while at that point.
Yeah, but then she took pictures and posted them all over social media. But to answer Kitty's question, yeah, you want help at your house for
Caramel
anything?
macchiato.
You get boiled shrimp, some crawfish, or some snow crab legs. I'm there. Make sure you have a lot of butter.
He loves the Low Country Bowl.
But anyway.
Was his eyebrow still sticking up above the sunglasses? Seriously, why that reaction? So, they said that what it was is from the swelling from his head, because he had a huge knot. Like, you couldn't see it because his hair's dark. But he had this huge knot, and...
Later, Susan. Have a good time.
Basically what happened is that the swelling had pulled the skin up tight, so his eyebrow was like that. So...
And so I passed out in the truck while she was playing on Facebook.
No, I was calling. We're making all of our final arrangements for the conference. And so I needed to get business cards finalized, t-shirts, which we're going to talk about in just a second, t-shirts and logos and this, that, and the other. And so I was talking, because the thing is that I haven't been able to iron this stuff out because the lady is in Tennessee. She's an hour behind us. But by the time I get off of work at 5, it's 4.
I need to interrupt you again. Because, remember, I was in Percocet land. And when I'm in Percocet land, there is no filter.
None.
So when we were getting our fancy coffee.
Oh, no, I don't know. I don't think you should say that online. Forget it. YouTube is screwing us anyway. Forget it. Anyway.
We ordered the fancy coffee once. And to me...
Drizzle. She asked if he wanted caramel drizzle.
I thought she said, do you want camel jizz? And I was like...
drink. He was like, what did you say?
What did you just say to me? And she's backing up. And I'm like, what did you just say? And Robin grabbed me and she's like, baby, she said she wanted to know if you wanted caramel
drizzle on the top of your cup.
And I went, oh. Then Robin made the mistake. What do you think she said? Okay, you asked. I said, I thought she asked me if I wanted camel jizz in my coffee. And she's getting upset with me. She's like, oh my God,
good stuff. And then once she said something else, she was like, well, I can't believe you thought it came out that way. And I was like, oh my God, stop. Just stop.
We can keep going with this. So, how does she start the conversation?
Camels. All right, Lorelai, have a good one.
So, how does my wife start the conversation with the business card?
Oh yeah, so I got her on speakerphone because Jason has Bluetooth in his truck. So I figured just turn it on. He was laying down, so I was just sitting talking to her. I thought he was passed out. He wasn't going to say anything.
She said something off the wall, and I sat straight up. Because she said something that it was a perfect joke opportunity. I get smacked. I get backhanded across the mouth. The whole POW! And my wife goes, I just want to let you know you're on speakerphone. My husband is here. He has a slight concussion. He's on pain meds, so I'm going to apologize.
Now. I'm apologizing ahead of time.
If he says anything.
I'm sorry now. I'm just saying.
And I'm kind of looking at her like, you just slapped the shit out of my mouth. And so then she pulls her hands away, and I'm like, well, you just kicked the door open, so I'm not going to behave at all. And so she said something, and I went, excuse me? What did you say? And Robin's like, no, stop. And this lady's laughing, and I'm like, well, you don't understand. I said, we were just at the fancy coffee place, and that lady asked me if I wanted camel jizz in my coffee.
Oh my God, I'm sorry.
And it just kind of went downhill from there. I don't really remember everything that I said after that, but somebody was in the driver's seat getting a little salty.
But, yeah, so anyway, I had to talk to her about all the different things that we needed to arrange for the conference. And then we went to the dinner for the
oils.
Presentation for the oils.
Which was really cool. They put some oils they put an oil on my head. And then they had me put some in the roof of my mouth. But I'm not going to tell you what oil is because you're talking about that one on Sunday, right?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. Y'all are going to love it. And I'm right here. I'm testifying. it took within 30 seconds. Because I was the Percocet by the time the
right. And by the time that
the
we got
dinner-
there, because it was like 6 o'clock, 6:30, almost 7. So it had been like 5 hours.
Yeah.
So it was.
Percocet Land
gone.
kicked me out.
And that was the other thing is that I took him to go eat so that he would metabolize it a little bit faster because I knew at 6 o'clock we were going to be, so I knew that was going to be an issue. So we went ahead and ate, and when we got there, he was, he was telling everybody what had happened, and of course,
Our upline is just thebomb.com.
yeah, so she was like, well, come here, let me put something on it. And of course, I was like, we rushed out of the house, so I didn't have any of my oils on me at all. Except for my Clary comb in my purse.
Basically, the lady that is like above us, she loves us. We're going to be doing a bunch of classes with hers and stuff. She grabbed me, sat me down, snatched my hat off, and basically kind of grabbed my hairs right here and pulled my head down, and she put the oil
on there.
on my boo-boo.
And within like 30 seconds
30
to a
seconds,
minute, pain was gone.
No pain, because I was out of Percocet land now, and my head was throbbing, and it was throbbing so bad it was coming down into my eye socket.
And his eyebrow was back up again.
And within a minute, my eyebrow was back down. I was looking normal again. I was able to cut up and joke. All that kind of stuff.
Now, he also put it in the roof of his mouth as
yes,
well. So
just like how I did frankincense. And y'all are going to learn all about that oil tomorrow. So make sure, we got 63 folks in here right now. You want to know about that oil, that essential oil, you guys need to be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. right here. Because that oil, that was probably had to be the fastest working oil yet. I've had some of them that worked really fast on some stuff, but that one, even I was kind of like,
yeah, because when we got there, he didn't even want, and we were at a coffee shop, so I was like, you want another fancy coffee, don't you? And he's like, I'm like, okay, something's wrong. We're back to being in pain and nauseous again. So, but again, at the end of the evening, about 2 hours later, which is about what I tell you guys usually it takes for the oil to kind of process, the need to what? Pivotal with you?
what are you talking about?
Wallace, he said, gotta run. I will call you tomorrow. Jason, need to something with you.
Okay, Ricky, I'll talk to you tomorrow, brother.
So, but yeah, so that was the thing, is like, it was 2 hours later, and his head, it was time for us to leave, or 2.5, maybe 3 hours, but his head was throbbing as we were getting ready to leave, so I was like, it's time for us to go. We need to get you home, get you tucked in, I can give you some ibuprofen, whatever, and go to bed. So, he got in the truck, and he was like, I have to pee. Like, okay, I'm gonna ask Lucy if she'll give me a little bit more of that oil. So he went back in there, and she went to give you some on your head.
And then she was like, no, just take the bottle. Just take the bottle. And I said, okay, well, we'll pay you for it. She's like, no, I want you to write up a review on it. So we're going to write up a review.
Well, and we're doing our whole class on it tomorrow. So.
What's up, Dr. Purple? And, wow. It was just great. Now, fast forward to we got home, went to sleep, woke up the next morning, was not allowed to go to work. She sicked Ladessa on me.
No, Carol. Ladessa went with
Oh,
Bubba.
that's right. And Carol, I mean, she just sucked at her job.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ladessa came home. And
Well, you're welcome, David.
Ladessa is a Nazi, is the best way to put it. I was sitting in the
Recliner.
recliner couch thing, and I was sitting upright,
And again, I had told them as
And
long
I
as.
was trying to go to sleep because I didn't really sleep that well.
hmm
And
No, the night before was a nightmare because he kept turning around and running around or moving around, and so I didn't sleep well Tuesday night, and neither did he. So Wednesday morning he woke up, his head was throbbing, so I sicked the girls on him and said, don't let him sleep unless he's sitting straight up.
Well, all Odessa heard was don't let him sleep. So
She kept fussing at him.
I first got woken up because Carol was letting me sleep at first. And Ladessa come run when she came in the house. She ran over to me.
She turned the corner and saw him.
Kicked my feet and started screaming at Carol. You're not supposed to let him sleep. He has a concussion. Da, 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 da. I said, I'm allowed to sleep as long as I'm sitting up. No, you're not. No, no, no. And I went. And so I decided I'm not going to argue with a 9-year-old.
No. So what did he do? Yes, he did pass out when he got hit.
And so I kind of kept just trying to hide in different places and take little naps. And Ladessa was on me like a bloodhound. So
He finally called me at work.
I called Robin at work. I said, will you tell this child I'm allowed to sleep in the chair? She won't let me sleep. I mean, because Ladessa was about as bad as her. She was kicking my feet, punching me in the thigh, the whole nine. And so she finally chilled out. Well, about the time I finally got her to chill out, it was time for them to take off and go to the dairy again. Well, Ladessa got on to Carol so bad that Carol
wasn't letting him
was
sleep
going
either.
to not let me sleep either.
I came home from work and he's like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're home. I'm like, not going to be here long. I'm going to milk.
I said, well, you need to take Carol with you or tell her that it's okay for me to sleep. And so I finally started getting some sleep. But I had to stay off a line for
a couple days.
Well,
then fast forward to Thursday morning, you had to get up because it was Apollo's appointment.
We took Apollo to get his beans removed. And so we got up, me and Carol went, dropped Apollo off, came back home. To and from. And again, Carol's whole job was to make sure that I stayed awake while I was driving.
Well, that you were okay. Like, not just awake. Like, because at that point, you weren't having any nausea at that point. Your head every once in a while was still hurting.
And so, but it was on the trip home, it was hard for me to stay awake. I look over, Carol's passed out in the passenger seat.
Yeah, needless to say, Carol's not in charge of taking care of anybody anymore.
So we get home, and I sit down in my chair.
Pass out.
And I pass out. I go back to sleep. And we get a call shortly after we get home. Apollo's made it through surgery. The doc called. He said he's just now starting to pick his head up and blah, blah, blah. So we can come pick him up after 5. So
Fishing came and picked me up from work.
We went to go pick up at Apollo. And Apollo came out with the cone of shame on, sticking his head up kind of like this.
Just kind of strutting with it.
With this, like...
There's like 6 women coming behind him. And I was like, what is this?
It was like this mob of
And here
chicks.
comes his doctor. And she's like, I just want you to see what Apollo's day was like today.
And she started showing these pictures. There was not a single moment where that dog
was by himself. You know, normally they put him in kennels or, put him in, the little crates or whatever. And then they have a run for him so that they can go outside, go to the bathroom, whatever.
Not Apollo.
Mm-mm. He was just on his leash, and they just loop his leash over somebody's chair or whatever. The whole day. He was hanging out with I imagine that if somebody didn't have a patient, they were loving on Apollo all day.
All day. There was intern girls, college girls sitting
The
down
other
with him.
doctors, they let him lay in the area right across from where the doctor's computer was to take all their notes and put in all their information. He was right there.
Yeah.
Just hanging out with the dogs all day.
Just chilling.
So funny.
And so, we get him, he's wearing a cone of shame.
Got him home.
Got him home. And
Hey, Kathy.
I basically took the cone of shame off of him, put his training collar on. Anytime he would go to lick that spot, because he wasn't allowed to lick that spot, I'd give him the bell. If he kept licking, I'd give him a jolt. But we had to put the cone of shame on him at night.
To go to bed because we can't monitor him while we're
Oh
asleep.
my
He
word.
jumped up on the bed with us and laid his head right beside me so that the cone was like up against my face.
And he just would
Or he'd take his paw and he was just making racket.
make a racket with it, and he'd
Yeah.
fuss and whine, and then he'd start slapping the side of the bed with the cone, or he'd hit the wall. And my favorite thing is if you got up to go to the bathroom, he would just walk into you with the cone, because the cone would hit you, and it'd, you'd push back like that, or it'd pick a leg up, and then you turn around and look at him, he'd look at you like, "You want to take it off of me now?"
Still got it on.
Still wearing it. And so he and then when we'd wake up, we'd take it off of him,
Mm-hmm.
but he wouldn't eat.
Yeah, and he still, even till this morning,
Yeah.
he wasn't eating. And we were keeping an eye on his area because they didn't cut the skin off. They left the sack, they just took the boys out. So she said we got to watch him because it will swell a little, but it can get really bad if they get excited. So we've been keeping an eye on that. And I noticed he hasn't taken any of his pain pills or anything because they told us to wait until he eats. Well, he hasn't eaten, so we haven't given him any of his pain pills, which it doesn't look like he needs them. But
No, he's.
But anyway, so we have it.
And so we've been waiting for him to eat, waiting for him to eat.
Yeah,
We've been
and
trying everything.
I mean, I even put some beef broth on his.
Hell, I tried to give him pizza.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to have
Just to
anything.
see if he would even be interested, if it was just the food that was bothering him or what.
And this morning when
But
we,
the other thing was his gas has been horrible, and his stomach.
and his stomach was making all kinds of noises.
Mama said, "Would you eat if they did that to you?"
And so we this morning when he wouldn't eat the pizza, I was like, "That's it, call him."
Yeah.
And so they said, "Well, bring him in." And so
Because it had been essentially 2 days
Yeah.
since he's eaten.
And so he found out he was getting right in the truck, and all of a sudden his energy level perked up again. He started doing that jumping thing and blah,
Hey,
blah,
Mr.
blah.
Rain.
He got in the truck, went there, put him on the scale. He lost 4 pounds. He was down from 120 to 116. And so they were like, "Well, that's not, with a dog this size,
Not too bad.
that's
but,
not a lot of weight.
Right. However,
But let's see if he'll eat this one feed." And so they brought it out, and you could tell it was in a can. Well, it's a special kind of feed that you can only get via prescription for the dogs. It's gentle on their digestive tract, but it also smells. It has certain smells to it that stimulates them to want to eat.
gets their glands going and everything.
And so they brought it out there and they put it in this nice little dish. And at first, Paula walked up to it, smelled it, and said, "I don't have anything to do with it."
Oh, anything like that.
And walked away from him, walked up completely on the other side of the room. And I
Yeah.
called him back over there, and so he laid beside it, but basically turned his head away from it
Mm-hmm.
and laid down. And I was like, "Oh crap!"
Mm-hmm.
And I kept talking to him, telling me it was okay. He could eat it. Blah, blah, blah. And after a couple of times,
He ate.
he finally ate.
But then,
And then
of course,
he didn't stop. He ate the crap out of it. Ate probably like a can and a half.
mm-hmm.
And they said, okay, he has now been stimulated back into eating. He's got something on his belly. His energy level picked back up right away. He
Mm-hmm.
went and did all of these other things. And so Blaze took my bank card out of my wallet to go get some diesel fuel and stuff. So I had to call them, and they
they were back getting milking, and so they had the card in his pocket. So Jason went all the way to Anderson without his bank card.
Yeah.
So they were like, well, you know, you can just get this food and it'll be fine. So he calls me, and I had to show Granite this morning. So he calls me and says, hey, I need you to come to Anderson. Like, okay. So I grabbed the kids, and because it was on my way to go through. So I picked them up, and we all went to Anderson.
And so I went to Anderson. They showed up. They picked up the feed. We walked around Lowe's.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to take him into Target, but I figured that everybody never crapped their pants.
Well, and you don't have his vest right now because we want him to.
And so all that walking around, he puked a little bit.
Yeah.
And so we were supposed to watch him. Da 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 da.
Donna, I thought you were going to say Apollo ate the bank card. That would be pretty funny.
That would be funny. But, so, and that's brought us up to where we are today.
Well, no, because we're not quite done with today. So, I had to go get Carol tennis shoes today.
Go faster.
Yeah. And so while we were there, we walked in, and the first thing I noticed was Carol does not like boots. She's very funny about shoes. Her feet are like Flintstone feet, so she's got the wide size foot. And the problem is a lot of shoes are made to be very narrow. So even tennis shoes, if you look at normal tennis shoes, they square off right at the, you know, what's this part right here, the little knuckle at the top. So it goes in very steep on a lot of the tennis shoes, and so she wasn't ready for new tennis shoes. She didn't want them, but she needed them. So we went in looking, and I saw some boots that were just like Jason's, but they were little girl sizes. So I had Ladessa try those on. Well, in the meantime, Carol got her feelings hurt because it wasn't all about her all of a sudden.
Thank you, Rain.
So that was kind of fun. So we finally figured that all out. Went through about 30 pairs of shoes with her because again, it has to fit a certain way. Found a pair of boots that she'll tolerate, and then came home. Oh, and we've been trying to get everything ready for the conference, right? So one of the things that we've been trying to figure out is soap. Wanted to make some soap. Well, I made a batch of soap, and it's not soap. I don't know what it is, but it's not soap. So I'm not sure what we're gonna have.
How you know it's not soap?
But I know calculations are. I don't know what I did, y'all. I'm just not even gonna go there. I just know that it's not right. So I gotta talk to. How do you know
it's not right if it hasn't cooled down?
Well, for one, I calculated enough, or so I thought.
Oh shit.
Calculated enough that it would fit the molds that I have. Well, I'm almost full with my molds, and I still have a crock pot full of stuff. So I'm pretty sure I didn't do the measurements right. I don't know if I had too much water, not enough water, too much lye, not enough lye. The lye heated up a lot faster than I thought it would. So next thing I know, the water's almost 200 degrees. I mean, it was a nightmare. I should have had the video camera going just so you could see all my different reactions going, oh crap, what did I do? So I don't know what, I really don't know what I did, but we'll see. So yeah, I might need to, I don't know. I really don't, I don't know. So, so that was that.
I love how I get to learn about this on
Well, he
the live
was.
stream.
I'm still trying to have him relax and not have, you know. Well, that's the problem. Is I think what happened, if I understand things correctly, I think what happened is I had way too much oil for my crock pot, and so I think I had divided it into 2 batches. But I think when I went to do my lye, I forgot that I had poured my water for a full batch. But I put in half amount of the lye, but a full batch of water. Which doesn't make sense because in the process, when I did it all, it immediately went to, it looks like lotion, y'all. It is not, I don't know what it is.
Puts the lotion on his skin.
But
Gets the hose.
I went ahead and put the, I went ahead and put some in because I was trying to do hot process, right? So I don't know. I did something funny. I don't know what I did, but I think I'm just gonna stick with crocheting for right now. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Cause I still gotta go back and watch the crock pot, you know, here in a minute. I don't know. We'll see.
Oh boy.
So be paying attention for tomorrow's video because I want to apologize for doing our live stream when yours was on. You know what? Two family, it's not a big deal. We didn't even know because
Didn't even know
I mean,
you were
I don't have
on.
a phone that has a notification right now, so I didn't even get a notification to know. So, but no big deal.
Yeah.
So
Don't worry about it.
So anyway, but yeah, so that's brings us up to right now. So now we have, just real quick before we get off of here, we are getting ready to put in our order for our t-shirts and different stuff. So I wanted to bring it up here because I know a bunch of you had asked about t-shirts and things like that in the past, and also hats. I know there had been a lot of interest in doing the hats with our logo on it, and we didn't have a way to do that before.
Yes, David Jeffries. Eventually, we are going to get around to doing a video about it. Well, we appreciate that too, family. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
We got some other cool homestead hacks kind of things. Well, thanks for announcing that, Donna. Appreciate that.
Anyway.
Nobody really cares. Have a nice time.
Anyway, so we've got a couple different videos that we want to put together, but I'm not really sure you know what all we're gonna do. I've got a couple of different things that we want to make videos. It's just time is just always
Yeah, right now time is killing us because we were up milking at the dairy. Robin's still working for the time being, and doing our stuff around here on our homestead makes it very hard for us to have time to make a video.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to make some tomorrow to get some out this week, but if stuff happens at the dairy and we end up staying at the dairy longer, and whammo, there goes our time for making the videos. So we're gonna do what we got to do our best to try to make some videos. to get them out to you guys. Like, I still got to make a video describing the homestead trapping boxes. We still got to make some of our homestead hack videos that Robin has. Robin's got some more essential oils videos that she wants to make. And so there's a bunch of videos out there that we've got to make, you know, and we're going to do our best to try to get them out as soon as we can.
Yeah, it's just the scheduling of it. Even when we're like, okay, well, we'll shoot it real quick while you're at lunch break, or we'll shoot it as soon as you get home, or whatever. It's still like something will happen, and then we can't get it done, you know.
Yeah. So
let's see.
That's awesome, David. We appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, and I think eventually we'll probably go back and do videos on each oil, as opposed to just the class. We may do like a quick 5-minute, you know. You freaked out, Donna. She was in the other room and heard you. But
My bad.
It wasn't you, Donna. So yeah, so we've got a lot of different projects, things that we want to get done. But the next 3 weeks, I imagine, are going to be a whirlwind because, like I said, Monday I still have to manage to get in touch with these people about all the stuff that we're ordering. I do know we're gonna carry some short sleeve t-shirts and some long sleeve t-shirts. We're also going to have some hoodies, and we're going to offer hats and also decals. So if that's anything that you're interested in, you can send me a message. You can send me a message and let me know.
Beer steins too, or tea steins.
If I can find them. I haven't been able to find them.
We are still looking for somebody to build us a good website. So if you guys know anybody that's got some decent references and stuff, please get us their contact information, or give them our contact information, and let us chit chat with them. And matter of fact, if you give us the guy that we use, I'll give you a t-shirt. Or I might even give you a hoodie if he turns out to be decent, you know. And because we desperately need somebody that can set up our website, set up the store. Because right now the one that we got, sometimes we get notifications and sometimes we don't. And the last thing I want is to be looking at the PayPal account going, how'd that money get there?
Yeah.
And I don't have your order.
Right.
So then it just delays your order getting to you, because then I gotta send a email to you saying, what'd you send us this money for?
Right.
You know, and if people send it as a gift, then it's kind of awkward conversation. But you know, and then it makes us look bad because our website's messed up and we're not getting your orders.
Right.
So we are shopping for a guy or a gal to do our website. I don't know
if he does.
I don't know,
or not.
Mr. Man. I don't know anything. Robin's chugging along with her book. I'm working on my book.
Everything obviously came to a halt this week
Yeah.
because of what
I just
was
about
going
got
on.
my introduction done.
Yeah.
So that's cool. But that's about it for this week. Now, you guys remember, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Robin's going to be doing her essential oils class. We will be here at 7. I'm not going to tell you what the oil is this week.
But I will tell you this. We're giving away 15 samples.
That's right. 15 samples. Plus,
of this oil.
that's just of
That's
that,
just of that
that
oil.
oil. Just of that oil. We're also giving away more of these.
the sample
the
blends,
sample
and
packets. So, and I got some other cool stuff to give away too. And so tomorrow is definitely one you do not want to miss. Tell a friend, tell somebody.
And I probably will let the cat out of the bag probably about midday. I'll probably start posting some stuff on Facebook and Instagram. So, just to kind of give everybody an idea of what we're going to be talking about.
And this is 15 samples for you guys. If you are in our downline, Kitty, Amanda, Mama, I'm already going to be sending you guys a sample.
Maybe with 15 guesses I can get one right.
You know, so be what they used to say back in the day, be there or be square.
All right, Pat, thanks.
My son-in-law does websites. I'm letting him know to contact you. Thanks, Pat.
Perfect.
That's awesome. Awesome sauce. So, I do make some sites depending on what you're looking for. Alright, Kitty, we'll talk too. Yeah. You're pretty much, tomorrow, you show up, you stand a really good chance of winning something.
Don't have Instagram. Well, that's okay. I'm not going to do like, you know how in the past I've done Instagram where there was, I normally give out clues. I'm not going to do that. I was just saying I may, start posting what we're going to be talking about.
No, Kitty, you ain't got this one. This one just came out.
She may have.
No, she ain't got it yet. She ain't got it yet. I know she ain't got it yet. I know.
And I'm probably going to, once the proofs for the shirts and stuff have been approved, I'm probably going to copy and paste those.
We'll probably do, as soon as we get them approved, we'll probably jump on and do a quick live stream. Let you guys see the proofs so that way you can start ordering them now. If you're going to be at the conference and you want this Homestead Trappers kit, because it's already pricey. What is the price of that thing? I didn't write it down. It's like $300. You can save the shipping cost by pre-ordering it now, and then I'll tote it up there to the convention, and so you will be able to get it there. That'll probably save you $100 alone.
I don't think it's going to be that much, but
anyway.
And we're probably going to, so.
If you go into the convention and you want to see it in action, because that's what most of my demos are going to be with, then by all means wait. But also remember, I told you guys last week that if you pre-order between now and the convention, about 3 weeks, if you pre-order this trapping box, my book, when it gets published, you'll get a free copy.
Right.
But once I'm at the convention,
right.
Nope.
Yeah.
Now I may include it. I may include it with the Trappers, the Homestead Trapping Kit later on down the road. But it'll raise the price of that Trappers Kit.
Right.
So we got a lot of cool things coming out, y'all. We got shirts, hats, all kinds of things. I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of folks at the convention. Doug and Stacy, the Cases, Joel Salatin,
Lisa Steele. Esther will be there, so we'll get to see her in person.
Yeah, we get to meet Esther in person. Tommy will be there, but we already met Tommy. Hope will be there, but of course we already met Hope. Amy Fuel. We'll get to meet her. Tangy, we'll get to finally meet her in person.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of people there, and a lot of people that we...
Oh yeah, we are definitely, Howard. We're getting excited about the
Getting
conference.
excited and getting a little nervous. that we won't have all of our duckies in a row by the time it gets there. This head wound concussion thing set us back a couple of days.
At least. So,
Yeah.
anyway.
So, all right, well, we're going to call it a night. Don't forget Mom's Oils class tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And we will see you then. Remember, be kind to one another, because you never know what they're going through.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Be kind to one another. Love on one another. Be, what do you say? Not really accepting, but show some empathy.
Empathetic, yeah.
And remember, even though the world was supposed to end today, and we weren't supposed to have our live stream because the world was
supposed to implode on itself.
Implode, or we were supposed to get hit by Naboo.
Yeah.
I guess.
Nibiru.
What?
Nibiru.
Nibiru?
Mm-hmm.
I think they just made that up because Naboo was a planet out of Star Wars. So, just saying. Just saying. But since that planet obviously didn't smash into us today, I guess we will be around tomorrow.
Yep. Fingers crossed.
So, as long as this Earth's still spinning, let's do our part to make it a better place and a cleaner place. Recycle something, reuse something, do something to lower your own carbon footprint.
Mm-hmm.
We love you guys. Thanks for coming by the Big Bear Homestead. And like always,
have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Peace.